So
What video are we watching?
What do you think about my my plan?
You mean nullification?
Yeah.
Is that your plan?
Yeah, I think that's...
I've been trying to bring nullifying out of Long Island, New York for a long time, and the problem is it's expensive to get them here. We have to really have to think about it. I'd like to do it for the winter, you know, like early next year. I think it's important that we, come on. What is this stuff? No, just go away. Anyway, I think it's important that we educate the people around here because we have some really good Tea Party groups and stuff. And when we did the Sheriff DeMarco thing at the library, I asked these people if they were interested in learning about nullification and would they go to something if I brought it here. And they all said yes. There was about 75 people that day. So I think it could work, and I think that we need to educate people about it, and I think it's important. So let's do it. Let's make that our goal for 2013, Tracy.
I'm completely on. Yes, definitely. I've been on an emotional roller coaster today. I don't know, Gigi, did you see the video, the RNC video?
You mean the one where they left out his foreign policy and act like it never, you know, he was never anti-war? That one? Yeah, I saw it.
I have from a really good source that the campaign actually made that tribute video. And that's who actually was responsible for putting that together, was the actual official campaign.
Justin Amash said on his Facebook page that he helped to make it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's, you know. I guess they thought that if they talked about the foreign policy, it would hurt again the campaign. So let's just make believe it doesn't exist.
That's the thing that gets me, is that, you know, if you're gonna make a tribute video, why not include the thing that someone's most vocal about? It's sad. It's just sad. Everything about it is sad. I want to play one video real quick for everyone. Hold on. It made me cry. I cried my eyes out after I saw this for a while, and I had Tina trying to help me pick up the pieces. But here we go.
We turn now to a major eruption of fury at the Republican National Convention on Tuesday as the formal nomination process got underway. Part of Maine's delegation stormed off the floor in protest against a decision to strip away half of the state's Ron Paul delegates. Supportive members of other delegations rose to their feet and hollered their objections, angered by new rules that they say will make it harder for grassroots candidates to stand a chance in future elections. His ardent followers used seldom evoked state party rules to garner 20 of Maine's 24 spots.
The RNC responded by replacing 10 of them, enough to prevent Ron Paul from being nominated from the floor.
Question on the motion offered by the delegate from Kentucky. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, no.
The decision caused an immediate uproar, but RNC Chair Reince Priebus was in no mood to take a roll call.
Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. We have to proceed with the order of business.
Unfair to us. We sat here and objected. He said, are there any objections? We objected. And you know, it's like, why even ask the question at that point?
Maine got screwed of half their delegates. More than half, actually. That's why their governor's not here today. Because he said he wouldn't come down unless their delegates got seated. Half of them got taken away, and they were replaced by people that the Republican Party, the RNC picked.
Several members of the Maine delegation walked off the floor in protest after the convention decided to replace 10 of its 24 delegates.
Convention is a farce! They talking there talking about we support our soldiers? They got rid of 7 of them! Americans, 2 recently serving in Afghanistan and Iraq. How dare they? Shame on them! Shame on them!
The people of Maine should be respected. Those voters that put us here, they should be respected. This is a sham. I love every one of you guys, and I love all those people back home.
Others on the floor were equally outraged. Kevin Erickson is a delegate from Minnesota.
What this means is that the states will no longer retain the right under the new rules to elect their delegates and have them stand. A presumptive nominee will be able to unseat an entire state's delegates if they don't like who's on the slate. Giving a presidential candidate veto power over a state's delegation means that future conventions will not have a dissenting voice. We won't be able to bring motions and amendments to our platform. We won't be able to speak for people who believe differently. You're taking a broad tent and a grassroots party and you're turning it into a dictatorship that'll be run by a few people with a lot of money. And average, ordinary people like myself will be out of luck and out of a voice.
The question is on the adoption of the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. Any other chair? The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no.
The question is on the motion that the Honorable Paul Ryan be nominated by acclamation. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
And I have to explain the cheers that we've been hearing. I had to turn around to see what was going on. It was Congressman Ron Paul entering the forum. He still has very much a role within this Republican Party.
Yeah, he is. I just saw him come through here, and as he went by me, there were a lot of young voters. They're the ones who really loved him, stopping him, taking pictures of him to tweet out. And he came in with his same smile that he's had, and he's become something of a cult hero in the party.
Let him speak! 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 Let him speak!
Madam Secretary, I am honored to lead the Republican Party in the Ocean State. It's the Liberty Day, for the record, Rhode Island and the Providence Plantation.
Not supposed to.
It's the home of the much known, such as the Greedy Miss USA. And then you know
Sorry, property.
I am pleased now to yield the mayor of the city of Cranston,
Proud to be here with
You took the sign.
and our delegates to cast 4 votes for Ron Paul and the overwhelming majority, 15 votes, to the next president of the United States, Mitt Romney.
Rhode Island, 15, Romney.
On behalf of the Georgia Republican voters, proudly give 72 of our delegate votes to the next president of the United States, Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan. 3 votes for Ron.
Okay.
Well done. Whoever controlled the microphone did a great job.
And I'm proud to say that we are going to support the next president of the United States by casting 67 votes for Mitt Romney and 5 votes for Paul Ryan.
Pennsylvania, 67, Romney.
Iowa casts 22 votes for Ron Paul. and 6 votes for Mitt Romney.
Iowa, 6, Romney.
Minnesota, where we are very proud of our state Republican Party, which runs a fair convention with integrity. It casts 33 votes for Ron Paul. 1 vote for Senator Rick Santorum, and 6 votes for Governor Romney.
Minnesota, 6, Romney.
We proudly cast 17 votes for Congressman Ron Paul, 5 abstentions, and 5 for Romney.
Nevada, 5, Romney.
Nevada, 5, Romney.
I got to tell you, and I like your dad, you love your dad, but I like him a lot. I was pretty shocked to hear that they wouldn't even read from the podium how many votes Congressman Paul got.
Well, one of the interesting things was the crowd was reciting how many he got, so when they wouldn't announce it from the podium, you would hear an echo from the crowd of the Ron Paul supporters who were announcing his totals.
Why didn't they do that? This seems so petty and so ridiculous. I mean, your father worked hard in the Republican Party. He went through all the rules. I believe he didn't do anything illegal in getting those votes. He went through the process. This is the last time he's running for president of the United States. I just thought it was inappropriate to end his political career, if you will, on a note like this before his own party.
Okay, so now for the second time today I'm crying. Regardless of whether you believe in what our message is or not, what we just witnessed is a complete and total dictatorship over our voice. And it's disgusting that it's able to happen, and it needs to be stopped. It's utterly incomprehensible to me how, on the floor at the convention, there can be such blatant disregard for the will of the people. It's so blatant that they're throwing it in our faces now. I don't know what anyone else thinks of this, but I saw the death of my country even more today when I saw that video. It makes me cry. And I'm sorry, but I have kids that have to grow up here, and we don't have a voice anymore, and we can't let that keep happening. It just can't. So I'm sorry for crying, but even if they didn't agree with us. We had 5 states and they changed the rules. I'm sorry, 6. We had 6 states and they changed the rules. Even if he didn't win, at least they could have given us our fair shot. Everything was scripted from the ground up. We do that, but I thought there would be more accountability, and there's zero accountability. It's like they don't even care, and they don't have to because they have the power, so we have to change it. That's what I'm trying to say, is that we all have to change this. We have to make it known that this is happening. We have to support our delegates that are there that have sacrificed so much time, and this party bullshit's not going to work anymore. Gigi, I'm sorry I'm taking a soapbox here, but
You can talk all you want. I'm past this point. I've done this twice already. I'm not going to play this game anymore. I'm the cynical one now. I mean, I left the party the other day. I filled in my little sheet and mailed it to the Board of Elections. My feeling is that if somebody's doing something wrong, you don't keep trying to fix it. You just walk away from it. And if millions of people left the Republican Party, what would they do then? What if nobody had a party and nobody came? You know, I mean, I understand people wanting to go in and fix it, but how many times are we going to beat a dead horse? I've done this already twice. That's it. That's enough. And the thing that's bothering me is that people are compromising in order to appease this party. And I've seen that over and over and over again, that people just keep, you know, oh, we got to play a game to get in. Let's compromise just a little bit. Let's sell little pieces of our soul. You know, Steve, I see what you're saying, and you know, it depends where you live, Steve. It depends where you live. Where I live, there's no fixing the Republican Party, okay? If you're for liberty, you're not even allowed in the door. And I know who is, all right? So what did I do over here? We had the Ron Paul people, you know, join the Libertarian Party. And we basically have really taken that over. And we finally got a candidate on the ballot who's going to be running for Congress. And, you know, why is it so hard for people to believe that they can come in and take over another party and just put a wedge between those two parties? Well, you know, I'm still waiting for Liberty people to join the freaking Democrat Party and run on a Liberty platform. Why is that such a ridiculous thing? It's not. Okay, that's why at Liberty candidates we don't ask what party you're in, because it's not important. I just want to sign a T-shirt that says party is nothing more than a vehicle for running for office. But everybody's so attached to this Republican Party, like they're crying like, my God, we lost something. We lost nothing. You know, you know what? Everybody can take over the Democrat Party because there's so many freaking idiots in the Democrat Party. Just go in and take it over, all of you people of liberty. Let's see that for 2014 for Congress, okay? Take over the Democrat Party and start running on a platform of liberty. Tell them that you're anti-war, you're against the NDAA, against the Patriot Act, because that's what the Democrat Party used to be about. Their big problem is that they want you to pay for everything in this country. So now we have to start educating them because we can get in there, at least on social issues. We agree with them on many. So screw the Republican Party. They have treated us with such disrespect. I don't even think that they deserve anything from us, not even another look. Let's hit them with the Democrat Party, okay? I'll shut up now.
No, I mean, I feel like anybody I showed that video today to my boss, who's a Democrat, and she watched it, and she was just flabbergasted that it's so blatantly obvious that they just don't care. Like, they don't care anymore. They don't care. They don't care. They're going to do what they want to do, and they're going to further take our liberty and freedom away from us. And there's nothing that we're going to do to stop it, working within the party in the amount of time that we're going to need to get things done. We don't have...
Who are these freaking idiots in the room? Like, seriously, who are these people? You know, use your real name, and you have no idea what you're talking about, really.
It doesn't matter.
I was never for Ron Paul. Did I vote for him? You know what? I'm not for the Libertarian Party either. I use parties as a vehicle for running for office. Anyway.
Smash, it also took 100 years for us to get to the point where we're at, where We don't live in a free country anymore. Our voting system is a sham. Our votes are counted by a computer in Spain. You think they're not going to doctor this vote to be whatever the hell they want it to be? Gary Johnson could have every American's vote, and Mitt Romney or Barack Obama is going to win anyway. So we have to do something different. We can't work within the two-party system. And if you want to keep the people that are doing it within on your secret friend list and try and work together clandestinely, then fine. But people need to take a stand. It's time for people to stand the F up, get out from behind their computers, and do something here to stop this nonsense. There are millions of us that want our liberty and freedom. There are a handful of them with money. Show them what it's like to have some power. Use your voice and get out there and organize and do something to stop this nonsense. You don't necessarily need a party to do that. You need your throat, your heart, and your feet. And that's all you need. Somebody wants to talk, Gigi. I said that everybody could come up here tonight and just kind of vent a little bit. Do you mind if I bring someone up?
No, no.
All right. Hello, hello.
How's it going, guys?
How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Good. I got past the depression. Now I'm back to normal again.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are probably wondering who I am, this is Todd Andrew Barnett, host of Liberty Cap Talk Live. We're doing a show tomorrow night, which is something along the lines of what you guys are doing tonight. So, I gotta tell you, Tracy, I feel for you, hon. I really do, and you know, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. There's a lot of people who are so upset within the last 5 days of this going down. Watching what's been going on at the convention, watching some of the shenanigans, the crap that's been going on from behind the scenes, the fact that they're changing the rules, that they're basically booting a lot of the Ron Paul delegates from under their feet, and the fact that they're just basically giving them the middle finger. They're just putting them out to pasture. It's utterly, utterly disgusting. And the fact of the matter is that these are people who were there. I mean, we all knew that Ron Paul was not going to get the nomination. A lot of people did. I knew that they weren't going, that he wasn't going to get the nomination. It pretty much dawned on me for quite a few months. But the way it went down, I don't think anybody foresaw how it was going to go down. I'm going to tell you, and I was even talking to Mike Blessing, the chair of the New Mexico LP, and he even agrees with me on this, that this was planned. This was planned from the get-go. This wasn't done by accident. No way in hell was this done by accident. This was done as a way for, number one, for the GOP to silence and tell the Ron Paul delegates, every single supporter out there, to, for the long and short of it, take a hike. This is exactly what they did. And for them to treat all the people within those delegations, from Maine, from every single seat up there, it's a joke of what the Republican Party has become. I don't see how any single rational person can stay in the Republican Party. I've never been a member of the Republican Party. I'm glad I've never been a member of the Republican of the GOP. My parents, for many years, have been members of the GOP. They were the ones who voted for Richard M. Nixon in their younger years during the Nixon era, and how he did pull all sorts of crap on Americans, how he pulled, spying and whatnot during the Vietnam era. Now, because of what's happening with Iraq, with Afghanistan, we've got the wars going on in Pakistan, Yemen, and Libya. I land next on Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan's list. What's next? Are we going to attack the United Arab Emirates? Are we going to attack any other Arab country out there? It's absolutely disgusting to the level, to the depth that the GOP has fallen. And I need to say this. I really do need to say this about Rand Paul, the traitor, the man who actually really was never a member of the Liberty Movement, who is masquerading, who is charading as a member of our movement. This is a man who went on Sean Hannity pledging his fealty to Mitt Romney within hours after Ron Paul's campaign issuing that email saying, well, we're going to have about 500 delegates coming to the convention, but we're not going to have enough to secure the nomination. That tells you right there.
I want to stop you for a second because the room is kind of blowing up, and we're half and half here, and I've been kind of attacked lately because of my view on the official campaign. But I can tell you firsthand that I don't know. I mean, I love and respect Ron Paul, and I will forever. That campaign was compromised.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it was compromised completely. We dealt with it personally with Paul Festival, and I don't disavow Ron Paul by any stretch of the imagination. I respect and love and adore that man, and I always will. But for him to have made some of the decisions he made and kept some of the people he kept around, in my opinion, and only my opinion, it was disastrous. I actually had today a person email me the volunteer directions for when they went to Iowa to stump for him in Iowa. If I could tell you the rules that were on this thing, it was like almost like they were going into Nazi Germany. Don't wear this, do wear that. Don't say this, don't say that. You can't smoke a cigarette, you can't have a drink. You can't sleep in the same room as a woman if you're a man. Make sure that even when you're sleeping, you're dressed like a Republican. I get it. I get you have to play the game. But this is coming from Liberty, right? So people in Iowa just shut up and didn't say anything about it because, you know, they didn't want anything to get out badly about how the campaign was being run. But then to see how, you know, grassroots supporters, like a lot of us in this room, and there are some that are stumping for the Republican side, and that's fine. I understand that you guys have your own way of doing things, and I'm not, you know, second-guessing any one of you, but I won't be doing it. That's all I'm saying.
And that's fine.
You know, I mean, you guys want to play from within, you guys go ahead, and hopefully you do it somehow. That's just not the direction I'm going in, and I wouldn't recommend going in that direction, because it's gotten us nowhere. I don't care. When someone endorses somebody else, when you endorse somebody, you're endorsing them with your own integrity and saying, I endorse you. I agree with you on this, 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 and this. So when Rand Paul endorsed Mitt Romney, whether or not he was doing it to play a political game or not, he endorsed what Mitt Romney stands for, which do we even know what he stands for? I mean, seriously? So how do we then trust him when he comes back and says, listen, guys, I only endorsed him for this reason? That's almost like telling your kid a white lie is okay if it, you know, as long as you have another reason behind. I would never conduct myself in that manner. It's either you stand for what you stand for, like Ron Paul has, or you stand for nothing. You're a flimsy piece of paper that can be blown away in the wind. Just my opinion. I don't feel like integrity stands with an endorsement of a man who supports the NDAA, the Patriot Act, our foreign policy, the health care bill, which he pretends he doesn't support, numbers of other things. They're both figureheads anyway. He might as well have endorsed Obama. Just saying.
Well, you know, what's really interesting about this is that, Rand Paul was, when he was on Hannity, he said, well, I've always loved my dad, but I am definitely supporting Mitt Romney. And a lot of, a number of the Rand Paul supporters were basically trying their hardest. They were trying their hardest to basically, come to his aid, come to his defense by saying, well, he wasn't really supporting Mitt Romney. He was just doing that, kind of like how Murray Rothbard was saying that he was supporting George H.W. Bush.
I'm gonna say this. He looked miserable. I was on a show with Josh Tolley on this very channel doing my show with Josh the day he endorsed Mitt Romney. And when I watched the video back, he didn't want to do that. And I understand. He really didn't want to do it. Who knows what happened in the background? None of us know. None of us will ever know. But just the fact that he did it and then voted for the sanctions in Iran, even though he had to sneak some things in there and blah, blah. How far are you willing to go to sacrifice your own core set of beliefs to fit in within another group of people? And how long are you going to do it for before you realize that the only way to get things done is to have a bunch of people who stand their damn ground and don't do that anymore? If we had the Liberty candidates who are elected stand up and stand their ground, you think this shit would keep going on? I'm sorry, I don't care how dirty it is. It's time for all this bullshit to stop. I mean, this is our goddamn lives here. Excuse my French. This is my kids' future in the hands of these people playing games with people that are bought and paid for by the pharmaceutical industry and Monsanto and all these other companies. This needs to come to an end. This can't keep going.
I agree with you. But the thing here is, I think it'll be, no offense, but, and no offense intended as about what I'm about to say here, but I think you're being a little too generous with Rand Paul here. I'm more critical of Rand Paul on the grounds that, if you're going to take a position that is going to be pro-Mitt Romney, and even if he does appear to be, well, very conflicted or not happy that he's supporting Mitt Romney, then that he didn't seem that way when he was on the Peter Schiff show, and he was voicing his same support for Peter Schiff. But that's a whole different story by itself. But the one thing that really irks me is that, the biggest player in all of this, as far as I'm concerned, happened on the night of the Paul Festival, and that was Jesse Benton. When he's another player who basically got involved in this whole scenario. He submitted a text message to, I think it was Deborah Robinette, the organizer of the Paul Festival. No. It was, I'm sorry, I stand corrected. It was Peter Schiff. And Peter Schiff got the text message, but Deborah Robinette was actually looking at his phone too, and I saw the video for it. And apparently he said, well, just basically I'm just paraphrasing from what I gathered from what Peter Schiff was saying was, well, we don't need you because you guys are a bunch of ragamuffins and you're part of that French group there. You know what, Jesse? You're right. You're talking to a ragamuffin here, and I'm part of that fringe. So screw you, okay? Screw you, Jesse Benton, because you have been the bane of our existence from day one.
People are in the room saying, like, what do we do now? What do we do now, guys? And I, in the beginning of the show, said what my gut tells me we should do now. Gigi, go ahead. What should we do now?
You know, I'd like to see somebody donate to Liberty candidates. I've been waiting a whole year. I think I've got like I don't know, like 150 of them running right now. God forbid anybody donated to those people. How about R.J. Harris in Oklahoma? How about somebody help this guy out and give him some money instead of giving Jesse Benton your money every freaking month? You know, I mean, I can imagine how much money you gave Jesse instead of giving them to candidates that actually could have done something in their own state. You know, these people are running locally, state house, trying to affect libertarian change in their states. Help them get elected. You know, stop ignoring them. There's another money bomb coming up. You know, I'd like to see people get on board with that. I'd also like to see people stop thinking about, you know, run for office, but stop thinking about, I'm going to run for Congress right away. How about you just run for, you know, local offices and just try to start from there. Run on a platform that I mean, just take something like red light cameras. Those affect everyone. If you ran on a platform of taking down red light cameras, do you think anybody would give two shits what party you were in? No, nobody would even ask. They just say, I want that guy because he's going to take down red light cameras, which might hurt my children because they might stop short because they're afraid to go through a camera. They're going to get hit in the rear. There's so many reasons, and they're making us broke. They're unconstitutional. Now they're going to put speed cameras up. You know, if somebody starts running on platforms that will get rid of this unconstitutional crap, we might actually vote some libertarians in office and maybe have a third party that grows a little bit strong instead of constantly fighting right versus left. You know, this is what Marx and Hegel wanted. They wanted us to fight one side versus the other, and you people have fallen right into it. Keep it up. I'm so tired of hearing about, oh, we have to work through this party, through that party. Stop talking about party and just look at issues. Run on issues. Look at the people. There's so many people running independent. You can win as an independent. How come nobody ever says anything about the independent party? You know what? That's a party. It's on the ballot everywhere. You know, just do something. Stop doing the same crap over and over and over again. I'm sick of it, and I'm sick of hearing people whine about the damn Republican Party. Look what they did, and you're going to give them any respect? Come on. And forget about what really pisses me off are the people that happen to be running in the Republican Party as Liberty candidates, constantly compromise, kiss ass. They just have to. You have no choice. Even Ron Paul had to do it, okay? Let's not forget Lamar Smith in Texas. Piece of crap. He had to endorse him instead of the Liberty candidate Stephen Schopp at the time, okay? Ron Paul has never been able to endorse a Liberty candidate that was running against a Liberty candidate in his state anywhere, because that's part of the deal of being a Republican. You have to kiss Republican ass. Have you not noticed that's part of the deal? You have to compromise.
And the Republicans, and I don't care who it is, they need to be called. Oh, thank you. They need to be, you know, they need their feet held to the fire here. They need to be called out for who they are, and they really need to be, you know, addressed to that. But I want to make one final point before I go here, which is, you know, I think that when you look at this whole scenario, you know, what's going on, I think when you get right down to it, you've got a lot of people in the movement who are actually opportunists, and you've got people who are looking to basically be brown nosers within the Republican Party, who are looking to, you know, rise through the ranks. by any means necessary. And if
They were looking to sell their phone system to the party. Sorry.
And I think
banking list went to freaking Freedom Work.
Yeah, and what's really bad about this whole scenario is that it really what really upsets me too is that the Paul campaign, for whatever reason, and I don't even understand the entire reason, but they banned Adam Kokesh from coming to the Paul Festival. I mean, what the hell is that all about?
No, they didn't ban him from going to Paul Fest. They banned him from going to the Sun Dome.
Yeah, Paul Festival was the place where he was allowed. We open our arms to everyone at Paul Festival, and then get bad mouthed for it, you know.
That's another thing we'll talk about. But I want to, I don't want to cut you off. I want Yohan to have a minute to talk. He was actually there while Peter Schiff was reading that text message off, wearing that very shirt and getting that very book signed. Well, that could be why, Dave, but guess what? Marijuana should be legal, so whatever. Thank you so much.
Half the people that I'm friends with did bong hits the same night, so, come on. Let's not,
I'm telling you
it's
right
private.
now,
If you want to do that, you can do that.
I'm dragging your butt on my show one way or the other.
Who?
You.
Oh. Okay.
Mwah. Thanks a lot.
Bye. Mr. John Yohan, proud member of the U.S. military, please salute the chat room.
Nah, I'm not gonna. I don't. You guys don't need that. No. I wanted to say really fast. No matter what you decide to do, I know there's a lot of people that are going to be wanting to do different things, whether it's supporting a Liberty candidate or going out on the streets yelling or going out on the streets and protesting the correct way, or even trying to go door to door, which I would suggest actually talk to the people and spread the message. You need to really, in whatever you're good at. Some people are terrible at going door to door, so you shouldn't do that. Like I would be terrible at that. But whatever you do, you need to keep working on promoting the liberty movement, wake people up, promote the ideas of limited government, individualism, sound money, and a sound foreign policy. And whatever you do, just don't forget any of that.
I want to ask you, John, because you're really, kind of entrenched in all this stuff. What I found the most interesting was how over the course of the 3 days at Paul Festival, Matt Larson, Carlos Beltran, and probably a little bit of yourself, and Jesse too, Jesse for on Paul, changed their views. They went from Paul bots to Liberty lovers in about a course of 2 or 3 days. And why did they do that? Honestly, because we sat there with them talking about liberty with Adam Kokesh. We sat there around, just sitting having a beer or whatever, and talked to them about the theories and the principles of liberty. And they all of a sudden realized it wasn't like they had to be a Paul bot anymore. Do you agree?
Well, yeah, I would never say I was like, I never attached the liberty movement with Ron Paul in the first place. But yeah, a lot of the other people. But to me, it's ideas, and he was the main one spreading the message at the time. It will continue on without Ron Paul.
It's really important. Not Matt Larson's here.
Not Matt Larson. Hey, that's not him.
Welcome, not Matt Larson. How are you? I just feel like, I was very disappointed, and I realized a while back, and I started to vocalize it, and people got on my case, that the liberty message is what's important here, and even Ron Paul himself had said it for so freaking long. And every time I would start to say, well, there's another opportunity here, or here's another opportunity there, or I feel like this, and all of a sudden, I was attacked by everybody. I've never spoken a word out of my mouth that wasn't the truth. Let's just leave that right there on the floor. Gigi can attest to that as well. And people need to look past this. We had a round table Saturday night at Paul Festival, and a lot of really important people there, including the sheriff who who is voting for Mitt Romney, was there, and I said, there's going to be a whole lot of people that are disenfranchised in about 3 or 4 days. What do we do with them? What do we tell them to do? And everyone was like, I really do think it's nullify. And Gigi, I really think we need to concentrate on that.
Is that it?
We need money, though. You got to have money. I already talked to Michael Bolden about getting Nullify here. We need at least $3,000 to start. It's not a cheap thing, and the problem is everybody's broke. I mean, we're coming into a hard winter. We really are. We have no idea after this election how high gas prices are going to go, oil prices, especially for us that live in the East where it's cold. There's a lot of foreclosures the banks even haven't let go of yet, and house prices are going to plummet when that happens. I mean, I'm a real estate agent. I'm not making any money. I don't even know what to do. My husband and I owe our real estate fee at the end of the month. That's like another $1,200 I got to pay to continue being a real estate agent. I don't even know if it's worth it anymore. It's getting to the point where it's getting really scary out there, and I mean, asking people for money for things like this is getting harder and harder. I think a lot of people didn't come to Paul Festival for no other reason than they couldn't afford it. They couldn't afford to go to Tampa. A lot of the delegates couldn't afford to go to Tampa. I mean, let's face it, they cried to the people at Paul Fest asking for help. And I think that is one of the things that pissed me off and why I got so angry, that Ron Paul's campaign was running an event against our event. And it wasn't so much that, which it kept growing and growing, and now I know it was because Jesse Benton had a vendetta, but the money that was spent on that didn't need to be spent, and they could have helped these delegates get to Tampa. There were a lot more than 190 delegates. A lot of people didn't even bother to go, okay? They couldn't afford it. They had all kinds of fees. They had outfits they had to wear depending on what state they were in. They had to pay for certain hotels depending on what state they were in. They had to pay their own transportation. And when I did mention this online, and Mrs. Paul got mad at me and said I was trash talking, which is quite all right. She could believe what she wants to believe. The next day, the campaign put out a letter saying that they would help the delegates if the delegates filled out a form. And I was told they would give the delegates $100 each. That's not going to do anything, okay? Maybe they'll buy a sandwich, okay? But this was a big mess. The campaign was too busy kissing a Republican ass to help out their own delegates. If people are broke, we don't have a lot of money, and I'd love to bring Nullify now to New York, but I just don't think it's feasible. I really don't. Unless we just basically do it on our own. And there's something else besides Nullify Now, and I did get the video. I want to bring this up because, Ed Weaver, I want you to listen to what I have to say. I see you sitting there. At Paul Fest was a friend of mine named Wayne Walton, who with Toby Weeks started something called Mountain Hours, which comes from Ithaca Hours. And this is a new form of currency that's by the people, for the people. And it's mostly bartering and getting different stores and companies to sign up. And instead of dollars, we're using time as a way to barter. Because, like, say, a haircut is not worth as much time as fixing an engine. So it's all based on time. We need to learn how to do this and bring this to our own communities. And this is the stuff we got to do. Forget about campaigns and running for Congress and all this stuff right now. Just look at your community and figure out a way that people who are going to be in bad times pretty soon, more jobs are going to be lost. You know, if we can't get somebody in there who's going to make something like hemp legal, which is the only reason I vote for Gary Johnson. I'm not really crazy about him, but you know, Ron Paul has a bill out there to make hemp legal, and Gary Johnson also is one who would do the same thing. And that's the only thing I believe that will bring manufacturing and production back to this country as well as jobs. So before that happens, in the meantime, bartering is a way for us to eat, for us to get things without having money. We can just barter the things we're good at. With other people, with the things they're good at. We need to attention to mountain hours, pay attention to nullifying, help your communities by getting people to fight red light cameras, fighting speed cameras watching us, getting, another person brought up something of getting people to donate to Ron Paul lawyers for things that might come up, like people that we know getting arrested for saying something on Facebook. There's a lot of things we can do, and we have to start thinking about those things and just get over this damn Republican Party, Ron Paul thing. It's over. Let's move on and start thinking about what we can actually do.
I agree, and we have to start also thinking about prepping, because that's something that one of the organizers of Fall Festival was really very, very, very strongly involved with, and they have a huge prepper community in California where she lives. And Gigi, you live a few blocks away from me. We need to figure out to get people together. God forbid anything goes wrong, how we can sustain ourselves and build a community within what we've got left. I know it sounds like doomsday, but guys, seriously, look at where we're at now. Let's wait for another 6 to 8 months, and let's see where we end up. Just saying.
I went on Meetup today to just look at the meetups in our area, and there's a big giant preppers meetup with people we don't even know. So everybody go to Meetup. Meetup is one of the first places I went to when I was joining the Ron Paul revolution in 2007. Go to Meetup in your community. There's so many people there that are awake and aware that you might not even know, that you can work with in different areas, like sharing food, organic co-ops, people that will really work with you with bartering and things like that. We need to stop the nonsense and just get back to reality here. And this is what it's all about. Ron Paul woke us up to what's wrong. We know what's wrong now. Let's work together and let's stop fighting, for Christ's sake. I can't take it anymore. Okay?
Yeah, definitely. I'm done with the infighting. Steve, thanks for coming up. I have to get another glass of water. You can say what you need to say. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Well, it's two things, and I know that some people are really emotional right now, and I learned from the last election, especially the way that I was treated in most cases, to not let emotion get the best of me, because emotion is probably one of the most powerful. How can I word this? Powerful things that will make you do things that you may regret later after you've thought about it and you've calmed down. I'm as upset as everybody else is. I watched the RNC convention. I saw exactly what was going on. But we did, especially our delegate chairs that still were to vote during the roll call, made a couple of mistakes. They all made a mistake. And I know that we actually had some delegation chairmen representing Ron Paul at the RNC convention. One of the things that should have happened while they were calling the roll is someone should have rose to a point of personal privilege, that they were not able to be heard from a microphone, to call a point of order, to call a roll call vote, to question the division of the assembly based on the new rule change and adopting the rules. That was not done by not one person that I could see at the convention. That was a major mistake. Now, I know that some of you are going to say, well, they're not paying attention to us anyway. They're ignoring us. It would have been caught on camera. Okay? These are things that we're not doing that we should, even though we're being cheated. But here's the thing about being cheated, and so blatantly. Doesn't anybody else realize that we're actually winning? If they have to go to these types of tactics, we are actually winning the battle. Now, we haven't won the war yet. But if we can continue to grow our numbers and move forward, we can start to route these people out. I don't care what party you do it in. Libertarian, Democrat, Republican, Green Party, Man from Mars.
Steve, go closer to the mic. I can't hear you, hon.
All right, how about now?
That's better.
I don't care what party it is, but we have got to continue to grow our numbers and work together. Now, the second thing that I wanted to bring up that I don't think most of you folks probably understand, and since you don't really understand parliamentary procedure, I can understand that. But as far as the new rule change that apparently has passed, the way that the delegates, considering we have a lot of control at the local level now, and I think everybody can admit that compared to the last election to now, we've grown leaps and bounds. And this was always going to be a long-term project. It wasn't going to be a quick fix. It was going to take dedication and commitment. But as far as the new rule change allowing a presidential candidate to choose their own delegates based on a primary, the delegates at the local level can negate all of that. And here's how you fix it. I'm going to write a detailed article about this on Tuesday.
Why on Tuesday?
Well, because I'm just going to enjoy my weekend. Everybody's too emotional. I want everybody to calm down over the weekend, and then I'm actually going to write something in detail and explain what can be done. Because it doesn't make any sense to do it now. But I'm going to explain it to all of you right now. We have the delegates in their districts, counties, and state, considering we have the numbers in a lot of these areas, is we changed the bylaws. Can you hear me now, Suzanne?
Yeah.
We changed the bylaws to where the delegates decide who are placed on the ballot for the Republican Party in their district, county, and state. All right, so here's the thing. Let's just say, hypothetically, Mitt Romney wins the presidency. Well, he's going to go for round 2, and they've set this thing up to where he's going to get to choose his own delegates regardless what the delegate process does. Okay, I understand that. But if the delegates get to decide who is placed on the ballot and who can run under the Republican Party ticket, they negate that new rule change. Because the simple fact is, if Mitt Romney is not on the ballot, he gets 0 delegates. That's how it works.
So, okay, that's all fine and good if you know, I still had any faith in the fact that anyone follows any damn rules. But it's quite apparent that rules are not followed and laws are broken and things don't go the way parliamentary procedure says they should go. And I'm sorry, but like that's blatant. And I love you, Steve, and I agree with you if we had rules that were being followed by anybody.
I understand, but Tracy, here's the thing. This is what's interesting about that. We've taken over several positions, and in some cases, almost entire states, locally.
Like Nevada?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, can you imagine what it would be like for a Mitt Romney if he does happen to win the presidency, that he's not going to be in the ballot in that state, or in Maine, or in Minnesota, or in Colorado, and all these states that we've won? There's no possible way the man could ever win a presidency. Again, ever.
Okay. So in the states we have control, Minnesota, Nevada, Iowa, we do that strategy. And if he loses those 3 states, what happens to him exactly?
You mean as far as him running for president again, or?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it would be detrimental to a campaign for any candidate that's running for president to not be on the ballot in all 50 states. So if we could take a half a dozen states out of the equation this next election based on the numbers we already have, there's no way that that person is going to win the presidency. It would be an utter miracle because they're not going to be on the ballot in that state.
All right, so then either we're giving the election to the Democrats, and I really don't think we have 4 years. That's just my gut. That's just my gut telling me we don't have 4 years to wait for this to happen. But, you know, that would be giving the election to the Democrats or giving it to a third party, which... I mean, what do you think?
Well, I don't know that it gives it to a third party. I mean, obviously we have to continue to work on getting third parties on the ballot in all 50 states. I think it's more the fact... I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Gary Johnson is on the ballot in all 50 states.
Yeah, and that took a lot of work.
No, he's not.
If that continues, that's great.
I mean, Steve, you're brilliant. You're brilliant. I mean, I don't even know anyone who knows half of what you know, and you're an amazing person, and you're one of my best friends. Do you agree with me that we don't have 4 years?
Well, I don't know. I know things look grim, but I never speculate. I never assume. I like to work with what's in front of me. Have I kind of prepared myself for the shit hitting the fan? You know, yeah, I have to a certain extent. I mean, I definitely, I'm not a Mitt Romney bank account. I'm not a Barack Obama bank account. But I'll be okay. I mean, you know, I've got storable food. I've got water. I've got gold and silver. But is the end of the world going to happen in 4 years? I don't know. Are we going to have a collapse? I don't know. I don't like to speculate on things that I can't pinpoint with fact in front of me.
What I know is this, and this is, I mean, I have this feeling inside that there is no way in hell I am going to go the rest of my life living the way we are living right now. I just can't physically or emotionally do it. I have too much inside of me than to let this nation or the world keep continuing down the path that it's going. I just can't do it. I just can't. I have 2 little ones. They're going to have little ones, hopefully. We were born in a free and prosperous country, and the atrocities that are being committed on a daily basis in this country on every different level of, you know, by the police, by the pharmaceutical industry, by the FDA, by the military, by the government, the Department of Education, for God's sake. I mean, everything needs to be fixed. It seems so overwhelming.
I get it, but here's my question to you. What are you going to do? Are you going to leave the country?
No.
Help me understand what it is that you're going to do, because I know you're saying you can't endure this anymore, and I understand. But what are you going to do as an alternative?
What am I going to do? I'm going to mobilize as many freaking people as will listen to me and get voices heard, like in Syria with protests, like in Egypt with protests, like in Iceland, how they kicked the bankers out of their damn country. I am going to find every person with an ear that will listen to a word that comes out of my mouth and get active and do something about this mess. I'm going to implement nullification. I'm going to spread it throughout my area. I'm going to do anything that I possibly can to work outside of the politics of everything and get my voice heard and get everyone else's voice heard. And if I have to stand up with a bullhorn every single day of the year for the next 26 years, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
You can agree with it or not, but that's the only thing I know how to do is stand up. I mean, I'm passionate about this, and there is nothing stopping me. There is nothing that's going to stop me.
Here's where I'm going with this. If everything is going to collapse, what can you and I do about it right now? Now, you obviously give a solution. This is what you're going to do. But if it's going to happen, Tracy, none of us are going to be able to stop it.
No. That's why I stress the importance of prepping. And that's why I know that 1 million people that will live around me are going to depend on the few of us that are here right now. Okay? The few of us that are in here right now, the ones with knowledge, those all over the country with knowledge and have been setting themselves up for this, people are going to need us. Even if they were jaded and misinformed, they're going to wake up right quick, and they're going to need us to help them. And that's what I want to be prepared for. I want to form sustainable communities if the shit hits the fan. I'm not going to let my kids go hungry. I'm going to figure something out, and that's why I need each and every one of you guys. We need to be a family. We need to connect with each other. We need to share information and resources. We need to learn how to take care of ourselves off the land. We need to learn a lot of things. I know it sounds catastrophic and crazy, but listen, guys, seriously, if there's a financial collapse and they implement martial law, wouldn't you rather know one of us than some idiot who's been watching American Idol for the last 4 years? I'm just saying.
Hey, I watch American Idol, okay?
But you have a half.
Steve, you live in Florida. Steve, are you working at all with Alex Snicker and Liberty Takeover? Because I think that's a good thing for you to do since you're there. You might want to help them or work with them. They're taking over precincts and getting people to run for office in every county, in every seat, and it's worthwhile. They're doing a good job. You know, and you might want to talk to Alex.
Nobody's ever talked to me about it, Gigi.
But they were at a Poll Fest. They had a table. I just go to Liberty. Just Google Liberty Takeover in Florida. It's excellent what they're doing. When I spoke at Poll Fest, I had Alex. I gave half of my time to Alex and Peter Richter and John Stevenson, who are two people that are running through Liberty Takeover, and it's a fantastic thing. I started Liberty candidates early on with Alex Snicker. And by doing in that state, you know, it's not about party. It's about teaching the candidates how to run for office, making sure that there are people in each precinct who are going to be going door to door to help these candidates. It's a fantastic way to take over and complete state, you know, area by area. So I would hope you get involved with that. I think you might like it.
And Alex Snicker is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he's an amazing person. He's so awesome.
Yeah.
I had a nice-long conversation with Christine and him before she took me to the airport, and he's just on board, and he's so smart, and he's just a great guy. You guys will get along great. You should really talk to him.
I supported him, Tracy, when he actually ran for Senate. I had Marco Rubio here at a fundraiser at my country club, and I wanted to vomit.
Yep.
But I wanted to get back to my point before I get off mic here. Since you and I have no control over what could or could happen to the economy right now at this moment, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and hopefully affect some change. Because that's all we can do. I'm not going to let emotion get to me. I'm not going to dwell or look back on the past. I'm going to look at the past so I can change the future. And this is what we all need to be doing. We need to be looking at ourselves and say, you know what? What can I do to make this better? What do I have to do locally to try and fight and make some changes? That's what we've got to be focused on. And that's why I haven't been online. I haven't posted on forums. I haven't written my articles because I know everybody's emotional right now. I watched this during the last election. 3 things are going to happen.
The funny thing is, I'm not emotional because Ron Paul didn't get the nomination. I'm emotional because literally, even worse than 2008, the death of our country was right there in full view, obvious to everybody. It was sickening and disgusting, and they won't show it on the mainstream media. So we have a responsibility to show people that, and that's the first flag that'll go up. I have a friend from Canada up here. What are your thoughts, my dear?
Oh, the intro. Wow. Okay. Hi. And hi, Steve. And first time ever, hi, Gigi. And hi again, finally again, Tracy.
Hi.
Well, I wouldn't have known about this fiasco if it hadn't been for my Ron Paul fellow Facebook friends, some of them, because it's not in our media. And when I think I already typed it down here, but when I had posted links to the sham part, and I also posted other things too, but when I posted that onto CBC, which is basically, well, it's Canadian Broadcast Corporation, that is basically Canada's version of MSNBC type of thing, and onto Sun News Network, which is basically Canada's version of Fox, nobody wanted to even remotely discuss it, and which is odd, because when I posted other stuff, they would outright lie or partially lie. But with this, there was nothing they could lie about because it was so obvious. So they chose to ignore it.
This is America.
But
This is the beacon of freedom. And, you know, our elections are completely and totally ridiculously rigged. But who picks it up? Who the hell picks it up? Nobody but us. It's disgusting.
Yep. Oh, and what I was trying to find the person's name, but there's a gal, actually there's a couple of gals, out in third world countries which had succeeded with trying to stop war, guess what approach they used? If you can, I can refresh your memory. Sex strikes. Hey, women in the USA, men too, because there's, gay men too. Sex strikes, bisexual people, sex strikes. Try the sex strike, see if that works. I'm half serious, okay?
I am at a point where I'm not acting on emotion here. Honestly, I'm not. I am acting on just my heart and soul at this point in time. It's like I just can't physically stand by and watch this happen and not do something about it. I mean, I just can't do it. I promised my kids when I got back from Paul Festival I would spend the entire week with them all night. I've done that to an extent. But now I'm like, I almost wish that I could just retake the blue pill and just be normal and watch sports and sit down and watch television and not give a shit about any of this. But I just want to relax, and I can't do it. I can't. I really,
Wow.
I don't know, Steve, I'm serious. Like, I just don't see how, after everything that's happened,
Oh, shoot, that's right.
working within the factions within the two-party politics or the politics in general is actually going to do anything. We can work with them in secret and tell them what we're doing, and hopefully they can help us. And I'm not disavowing anyone who chooses to take that route by any stretch of the imagination. If you choose to try and change from within, more power to you. I wish you the best. I hope you're successful. And I'll probably need you at least 1 or 2 times down the road, so please keep in touch. But honestly, we need noise. Loud noise. If anyone else wants to come up here and talk or voice their opinion or say something, please do. It's an open floor for you. Steve? All right, do you guys want to see the RNC sham video? Who is in here who didn't see it already before I play it? Okay, Christine didn't see it. Anyone else?
That's the one I was sharing, but I don't mind watching it again. It's okay with me.
Mark M., you didn't see it, John? Okay, I'm going to play it again just for... I probably will cry again, but I'll play it anyway. Are we ready? Here we go.
I love you, Tracy.
I love you too.
But people really have got to start thinking outside the box.
I am thinking outside the box.
All the Rand hate, I can understand it, because people have tunnel vision and they're not looking at the big picture. Let's just continue to focus on trying to fix this country. You have one way, somebody else has another way, somebody else has another way. Let's focus on and start there.
It's really hard to hear you, Steve.
I don't know why. I love you guys. Let's keep working together. Let's make some real changes. This is not over. Period. Have a great night.
Bye, Steve.
Good night, Steve. Even though I said I would not talk about a certain person. What I will say is the ends do not justify the means. Although currently that does work for Romney.
I mean, I wish I knew what's going on overseas with coverage and stuff and how people are reacting over there. I would really like to see how the rest of the world is portraying the press conference that the delegates had today, which I thought was amazing because they did play politics and say they wanted to stick with the Republican Party, but they threatened enough And I watched the planning of that press conference, actually, because the Fish sisters are amazing. And they live streamed everything beforehand, and I watched everything before that. And I thought it was fantastic. And I just think they did a really great job. They had some people like get a little bit more edgy than others, and I don't know what the world media outlet's doing as far as this goes. I wish that I did. I wish there were people over there rooting for the one last supposedly free country to actually preserve its freedom.
I understand, but I'm not overseas. Canada's not overseas, so no comment there. I don't know.
I know you're not overseas. Canada's like where we blame people up north, right?
Oh, I had to beat up those South Park creators.
Guys, I'm going to call it quits unless someone else wants to come up here and say something. All I have to say is I am fired the hell up. And this country is not going to go down the toilet. There are too many of us that are too strong, that have too much heart, that care too much, that have kids, that want this nation to be prosperous, that want our freedom back, that want to get rid of all these bills, that want to take us back to where we were before. I cannot just stand by and let this crap happen. We need to get the word out there to everyone that will listen. That video is powerful and it's blatant. Even if you don't agree with the positions that Ron Paul and the Liberty Movement has, the censorship and the disgusting way they pre-scripted that entire convention should be a light bulb off on every single American's head, no matter how up the donkey or the elephant's ass they are. People should wake up and realize that everything in this country is now bought and paid for. Every single thing is controlled by a world government with their own money and interest in mind. We are sovereign people. States' rights matter. Maine's delegates matter. Iowa's delegates matter. Minnesota's delegates matter. Nevada's delegates matter. The states' rights matter. There is nothing that should be able to stop us from getting this message across. There is nothing that should be able to stop us from using our voices and getting people to freaking listen and understand what the hell is going on in so-called free America. Get fired up. Get fired up right now. I am so not finished. I have so much more coming. Please stay tuned. Please join with me. Please continue the fight. We have no one to save but ourselves at this point. I want to drink a glass of damn raw milk and enjoy it. I want to buy a cup of lemonade and enjoy it. I don't want the government telling me how much salt to use. I sure as hell don't want my brothers and sisters dying overseas. We can do this. We can do it. We need to band together and figure it out and get it done. I count on all of you to do it with me. Please, stand by me. I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.